Welcome back. This video was about EC2 Spot Instances. Spot Instances lets you use spare EC2 capacity at a meager price, up to 90% off the price of on-demand instances. You can get Spot Instances at up to a 90% discount compared to on-demand prices. Because Spot Instances enable you to request unused EC2 instances at steep discounts, it helps lower your Amazon EC2 costs. For example, in the screenshot, you can notice the EC2 Spot Instance pricing history in the US East 1 region. It shows the average savings when using EC2 Spot Instances. As you can notice in the screenshot, in the US East 1B, the savings was 71.45%. In US East 1C, the savings was 63.36%. In the US East 1E, the savings was 61.6%. And in US East 1D, the savings was 71.67%. As you realize, these savings are significant compared to what you pay for on-demand instances. Let's talk about how to get EC2 Spot Instance. To get an EC2 Spot Instance, you define the max spot price and get the instance when the current spot price is less than the maximum price you defined. The hourly spot price varies based on offer and capacity. If the current spot price goes above your defined max price, you can choose to stop or terminate your instance with a 2-minute grace period. The other strategy is the block spot. You can block spot instances for a specified time frame, between 1 to 6 hours, without interruptions. In rare situations, the instance may be reclaimed. Let's talk about its use cases. You could use spot instances for the various stateless, fault-tolerant applications that don't get impacted if the spot instances are terminated suddenly. For example, if you have an ETL batch job that can be interrupted and resumed to start from the point where it stopped, it can be a good candidate for using spot instances if you were looking to save costs for running this ETL job. On the other hand, since spot instances can be terminated at short notice, these instances are unsuitable for workloads that need to run at a specific time, or if the workload result is impacted by the sudden termination of its execution. You can leverage spot instances in use cases where applications have the flexibility for their start and stop times. In other words, it's okay if your application is stopped, interrupted, or terminated at any time. The reason is spot instances are acquired using the bidding process. Therefore, there is a probability that you may not get the spot instance at the price you bid. Spot instances can be terminated at any time because of the bidding nature of acquiring instances. If you are looking for a large number of computing resources immediately, spot instances are the best choice. Let's talk about terminating spot instances. When Amazon EC2 interrupts a spot instance, it terminates the instance by default unless you specify a different interruption behavior, such as stop or hibernate. You can only cancel spot instance requests that are open, active, or disabled. Canceling a spot request does not terminate spot instances. You'll first need to cancel a spot request and then terminate the associated spot instances. Now let's talk about spot fleets. Spot fleet is a collection of spot instances and on-demand instances. The on-demand instances are optional. The spot fleet will try to match the target capacity with price constraints. You can define possible launch pools such as instance type, OS, and availability zone. You can have multiple launch pools. Spot fleet stops launching instances when reaching capacity or when the maximum cost is reached. Now let's discuss strategies to allocate spot instances. Your launch configuration determines all the possible spot capacity pools, such as instance types and availability zones, from which spot fleet can launch spot instances. However, when launching instances, the allocation strategy determines how the spot portion of your request is fulfilled from the possible spot instance pools. You can specify one of the following allocation strategies. Price capacity optimized recommended. In this strategy, spot fleet identifies the pools with the highest capacity available for the number of instances that are launching. This means that spot instances will be requested from the pools that are believed to have the lowest chance of interruption in the near term. This is a recommended strategy. The price capacity optimized allocation strategy is the best choice for most spot workloads, such as stateless containerized applications, microservices, web applications, ETL, and batch processing jobs. Capacity optimized. In this strategy, spot fleet identifies the pools with the highest capacity availability for the number of instances that are launching. You can optionally set a priority for each instance type in your fleet using capacity optimized prioritized. Spot fleet optimizes for capacity first, but honors instance type priorities on a best effort basis. This is a good option for workloads where the possibility of disruption must be minimized, and the preference for certain instance types is important. Diversified. In this strategy, the spot instances are distributed across all pools. Lowest price. In this strategy, the spot instances come from the lowest price pool with available capacity. This is the default strategy. However, it is recommended that you override the default by specifying the price capacity optimized allocation strategy. Because this strategy only considers instance price and not capacity availability, it might lead to high interruption rates. Finally, the key points. You can get a discount of up to 90% compared to on-demand instances. You can lose your spot instance at any point in time if your max price is less than the current spot price. Spot instances are good options for workloads that are resilient to failures such as batch jobs, image processing, data analysis, or workloads having a flexible start and end time. Spot instances are the most cost-efficient instance type. Spot instances are not suitable for critical jobs or databases.